People, Deluded, I'm back again. Good morning, and I hope you're all well and safe and doing alright today on this Friday morning. Now, I wanted to speak about Arsenal, as I typically do. I'm an Arsenal fan. Yes, I'm an Arsenal fan wearing a Bayern Munich t-shirt. Wow, my word, it's crazy, isn't it? I said that because you see some of my comments, people draw conclusions over wearing shirts. But I wanted to speak about Arsenal. Now, when you speak about Arsenal's problems, the bulk of it is defensively. I do believe you build a foundation for, if you want to build something, you build from the bottom up. I always say it, and those that have been rocking me for a while, you lot know my favourite saying is you don't build a house backwards. You know, you deal with the foundations and the roots and putting the beams in the house way before you talk about Wi-Fi and TVs and all of these things. I believe your attackers and your creative players, they're your Wi-Fis and, you know, fancy little studies. They're the things that look good and they're pleasing. But for that to be in place, you need proper insulation to keep you warm. You need strong foundations to hold everything up. You need a structure in place for the house to simply not collapse and kill everybody. And that's how a football team has. You've got a weak defence, you will be terrible. You look at any team that's won anything, you know, they've had a good defence. If they haven't had a good defence, that defence has been in good form relative to the cup competition. If they haven't had a good defence, they've had a good working system. And I do believe that. You look at the goals we've conceded, you look at the amount we concede from set pieces, you look at how we defend in the last 20 minutes, a lot of it is defending and defending from the front and defensively. But I also feel there's another way of defending. I think regardless, you've got to be able to know how to defend, you know, resolute backs against the wall. Like how we defended against City, you've got to be able to do that every week sort of thing against teams. That should be the minimum. We shouldn't have to praise that. Do you get it? But at the same time, I do believe attack is the best form of defence. And I do believe when you have better attackers, you defend less. Like Liverpool have to defend and remain penned in. But because their attackers are in the game, the other team are occupied. We don't really have that. Yes, we have... listen, I'm a big fan of Pepe. I think Martinelli, when fit's a baller. Saka has shown he's on this thing. Pepe might not be everyone's cup of tea, but he is a decent player. We've got some options. But specific to midfield, I don't think we create enough chances. I don't think we dictate the tempo of the game. And when you don't do that and you're not really on the front foot, you can't really dominate games. You can't really defend from the front. And I do think if we had better dictators in midfield, I do think we need a defensive mid/combative box-to-box man that we can, in place of Torreira if he's sold, or with Torreira to give us greater options. But we need people that can dictate the tempo, that can break the lines, that want the ball, that want to kind of hold on to the ball. And I think if we had better man like that, better chance creations, just as a team created more chances, we'd have less defending to do for as much of the problems we've got. Like, I'm not here to sing Mesut Ozil's praises. Like, if Mesut Ozil is in these games, it's always, if it's not Ozil, it's a lot, whatever player is not involved is the one fans look at and say could have made a difference. Do I feel Ozil could have made a difference just by simply passing the ball between the lines? Of course, but we all know the other baggage that Ozil comes with. I can't understand why Ozil isn't on the bench in the last 20 minutes in games. Clearly, you know, I think Arteta would like him on the bench, but I think that's a club matter and things like that. But for me, away from Ozil, and Arteta's just come into the role, but I'm more looking at the board to help him with that. If you're not going to play... When you think of Ozil, we all know Ozil this present day is not Ozil, but just in terms of looking at it, unbiased, without your opinion on Ozil, just by looking at the team and what he offers, yeah, he's a creative man. When you think of creativity, I think of Emil Smith-Rowe, he's on loan and he might not be ready in Arteta's eyes. Yeah, I think of Reece Nelson can play there in that position if need be. Saka's shown he can play there. I don't necessarily think of Joe Willock, even though he's played there in the youth, but he can do that role. I think he's a pivot man, but he can do that, or clearly the club see him as the next one to do that. So for me, by all means, don't play Ozil. I'm not saying, this is by no means defending Ozil, saying he should play video. This is just me as a fan looking at what my players offer, seeing there's a gap in terms of creativity and breaking the lines. And for me, if we know we're rubbing out Ozil for like we've been trying to do for the like we've been doing for the last few years, why have we not eradicated the need for creativity from him? Why have we not gone for that modern day sort of midfielder in the same ilk of Kevin De Bruyne? Of course we can't go for him, but that modern day creativity. If Ozil isn't there, who else is doing the creative thing for us, people? Do you get it? So what are we doing to plan against that? By all means, rub out Ozil, but I need to, and I'm not defending, I know I keep saying his name purely because he's the only real creative man. What are we doing? Because I don't really see any other chance creations. Like Ceballos wants the ball and stuff. Is he really splitting the lines and breaking it? No. Xhaka can pass pass the ball, but is he the man for that? That's not really him. He does a bit of everything. Xhaka does, you know. To Torreira, I'm a fan of Torreira. He'll probably leave, but his skill set is not breaking the lines. Joe Willock, he's played that youth academy days, but he almost looks like a duck out of water. He looks a bit fresh in that role. I know he presses well and things, but I don't think he's gonna, unless he really polishes up. I don't think he's got the sort of speed of thought, the first touch, and all of these things to do it in that role. Like I look at Saka, I don't think Saka's a 10 long term, but I think Saka can do it better than Joe because of the temperament and the decision making. Joe can still develop. I'm not criticising Joe. I'm criticising like if like there's really a lot. I'm just criticising the void of creative players. Like who is there? Like who is there? There's no one. We ain't got dynamism. We can't shut out games. We can't really dictate the tempo of games. I remember when we had creative players in abundance, like what Wilshere, Santi, Ramsey, Rosicky. You know, remember them times that we used to force players out wide. Someone would always have to be a cam out wide because of this. Like you just look at it's just. For all our problems defensively, set pieces, game management, all of these things, people, we still have issues. You look at it like chances created in the Premier League at the point of making this vid, it's obviously going to change. But you look, Man City's first with 558, Chelsea second with 447, Liverpool 441, Leicester 398. You know, 4 teams challenging for top 4. Manchester United, you know, probably since they've got Bruno, that's helped them, and they've got Pogba. But somehow, you know, they've managed to be up there with 390 in 5th. And these are 5 teams that have a good chance of playing Champions League football in some capacity next year. So there's a current theme here. You go down the chances now, people, and Arsenal are 16th. You know, Watford have created more chances with 290. We've got 288. 17th for Bournemouth with 278. Now again, I'm not the one to look at money, but when you look at the money we've spent of this squad, should we really should we be 16th for chances created? We should be creating, every top team should be creating chances in abundance. We should. We've got bloody Aubameyang. We've got one of the most lethal strikers in the Premier League. Why are we low for chances? And it makes what he's doing even more remarkable because he's playing on the wing. He's playing in a team that don't create. There's a lack of chances created through the team generally, you know. They barely try and play him in behind. There's a few times Tierney will try to do that and stuff and his help, but we don't really do that. Or Guendouzi against Spurs this season. And even against, was it Everton or Newcastle, one of them games, there's only been a handful of times we've done them Aubameyang goals. So it's remarkable. And how can we really expect our attackers to excel if we're not continuously creating chances? We definitely need to create chances more. And that's not just on the midfield. I feel fundamentally, when speaking about defending, our midfield in a defensive sense isn't spoken about with the same energy we speak about, rightly so, our centre-halves and the need for another one. But also going forward, you know, listen, Pepe, Aubameyang, even Aubameyang after the restart had a little couple games where he weren't scoring. Lacazette's gone through tough times. Pepe the same. Ceballos. Now at times, these players need to pull it out themselves and take responsibility. But if we was more of an attacking team, creating more chances and more fluid, definitely for Ceballos and Pepe on the Emre, could they have been better? Could Aubameyang have scored more? Could we have, you know, because we don't even share the goals out enough. We don't create chances in midfield and we don't have any goal scorers in midfield. So we're already heavily reliant on our attackers. Specifically, we're even relying on the left-hand side of our pitch at Arsenal. You look at chances created for players now, you know, top 5, you know, I'm going to say he's not first, but considering he's a fullback and I was a right back, I'm hailing him up. Trent Alexander-Arnold, he's got 85 assists, people. 85 chances created. Grealish has 90. Kevin De Bruyne, 126. That man's on 19 assists. Buendia, for a relegated Norwich side, 4th with 83. Maddison, 5th with 79. And you look at that, one is a right back. Now, Liverpool's system, the creators are going to be the wide players because of how they play, the fullback, sorry. But, you know, their fullback is above any of our players. So what's going on? That shows the problem. Now, there's a clear gulf in class between Arsenal and Liverpool, clearly. But this shows the issue. They've got more attacking talent statistically in their fullbacks than we do all over the whole side. Because you look at 33 place, you know, you find Ozil, who's been alienated after initial promise under Arteta, sorry, and Pepe, who's going through trials and tribulations, he's in the side and out the side. Both are at it with 38 apiece. Now, Ozil may be on Watford, but Ozil's been fried this season, and you know Ozil, over a case of 38 games, he's probably not someone you should rely on. And then with Pepe, he's still, you know, he's been out of the team, he's lost confidence, and he's even had a kid. When he's not been there, who the hell's been creating stuff? How the hell do we create stuff? Statistically, this tells us if Ozil and Pepe are not there, we're going to struggle. And, you know, we already, not for many things, we rely on, obviously Aubameyang's a goal scorer, he needs to score goals, but we're too heavily reliant on our front three when and collectively there is more we can do. There isn't more for me to say, but on that note, I'm going to get out of here. DG, I'm out.